We have the Broncos and the Cleveland Steamers. It, it it was a good game. It much better than I expected it to be, and that sounds like an unfair thing because honestly, Josh McCown lately has been playing very well, like very well, putting up really good yards. He's putting down touchdowns. He has interceptions here or there, but almost not like more so than, for instance, Peyton Manning this year. He threw three. He has 7 touchdowns and 10 interceptions this season right now. Well, it's obviously their defense, and that's not really a surprise. We've been saying that for weeks. Everybody else has been saying it for weeks. Here's a surprising statistic that shocked me when I saw it. Peyton Manning has the worst quarterback rating in the entire NFL right now. At this point, it's I think a blessing for Peyton Manning that his defense is that good. I think it's a blessing that they're undefeated because if they were in any other scenario, it might be time that I wouldn't be surprised he got benched. To be honest, hmm. I w- that is true. That's a good point. And as much as I've been saying that statement, I think all week, and anybody who I talk to about it keeps saying, "Are you gonna really fucking bench Peyton Manning?" And no, no, you're not. And if I was the head coach of the Broncos, I wouldn't either. And I think exactly what you just said. They don't have a backup. uh, they really don't have anybody like they don't even have like someone like a Mike Vick. They don't have uh you know maybe even if they did have Tim Tebow, they're not going to put him in. There's surprisingly a lot of things about Peyton Manning, but they are still winning games, and that helps a lot. He did throw one crazy pick six. I thought like a really weird pick six that I never expected, which is kind of goes to maybe the Browns' benefit that has a slightly better defense than what I expected them to have. But then if you want to come back to the Broncos defense, I think it was right away in the first quarter. Akib Talib had a pick six, and honestly, I just want to say that because my favorite name to say is Akib Talib. I think that's the funnest name to say. I could say it all day and I would never get bored of it. I absolutely love whoever his parents are. Like are brilliant because they knew what they were doing with that name. Yeah, really crazy. I mean, what? Oh, of course it won't. They're both Peyton Manning and Tom Brady are only limited to how many years are going to be left in the league. So that's true. That's very true. I would not be surprised if Peyton Manning throws more. And you know what? I absolutely hate it. It almost like kind of hurts me inside to like be talking negatively about Peyton Manning. I respect the guy and a lot, and he's definitely the veteran of the quarterbacks going on right now. and I hate to see him crumble. I shouldn't say crumble because I obviously they're having a bad season, and I look at it this way: you look at all the greats before they retired, and probably the most recent is when Brett Favre retired. You know, when his retirement, nobody remembers his shitty season with the Vikings before he retired. Everybody remembers him getting to the NFC Championship with the Vikings before he retired. Yeah, right. Exactly. What exactly? Yeah, and you can just say, "Hey, Broncos have the best defense," and thank God that Peyton Manning got a second ring at that point. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, if you, yeah, I was gonna say if you take it this way or that road, the left, I would say that the weakest. And actually, I'm really glad you brought this up because I was gonna ask you, who is gonna be the one to finally challenge the Broncos defense enough to settle the score and finally beat them. And this sounds biased as I'm wearing my Jordy Nelson jersey and my Green Bay Packer hat, but realistically, Packers didn't have a great week, but they still won. They still won against a guy who threw over 500 yards, and yeah, I I honestly think this is what's going to come down to it. We can put my predictions here, and I know we have to wait 2 weeks for the game to finally happen now. But I think that with Peyton Manning throwing as many interceptions as he has been, the Packers are going to beat the Broncos purely on turnovers. I think Broncos defense is going to do a really good job stopping Aaron Rodgers. I think they're going to do a very well job of just shutting down the Packers offense in general. But I think because of Peyton Manning's interception rate at this point, that's going to cost them the game. And I think despite how good the Broncos defense is, I think the Packers offense is good enough to still sneak by and be able to score more points. And that's just kind of my bold prediction. It's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be a great game. I would be shocked if it was some sort of a blowout either way, but I just think it's gonna be a really good game. And I gotta look at the schedule again, but I'm pretty sure that's either a Thursday night or a Sunday night game. So it's definitely, yeah, I suppose. Yeah. I guess I'll say going back to the Browns. Hey, you put up a hell of a fight against a really tough team, especially a really tough defense. It should be accommodated at least to the Browns that they're really not a terrible team this year. I know I called them the Cleveland Steamers in the beginning of this video just to make the joke, but they're really not a terrible team. And you know, I know that it kind of sounds bad to say that we didn't dwell too much on the Browns or anything, but I think more importantly is really what's coming up after this bye week for the Broncos and the Packers and seeing how that shootout's going to be. I mean, it's going to be a shootout. You got Rodgers and Peyton going head to head. I I didn't want to talk about it. Yeah, I fuck that. You know what? You know what pisses me off? the most about that. Just last week, I got done saying of how I have this newfound respect for Johnny Manziel, and he just completely destroyed that within this past week. I was just like, all right, well, thanks for making me look like an asshole. So, fuck Johnny Manziel. Going back on that bandwagon, and with that, we're just gonna stop the episode. Find us on Facebook. Find us on Twitter. Stop Johnny Manziel and his abusive. I couldn't even stop. I couldn't even finish that one. I'm sorry.